When You Finish Saving the World, a new drama film that is Jesse Eisenberg's directorial debut and a new A24 film in theaters. How did I feel about this film? Well, stick around and let's talk about it. Evelyn and her oblivious son Ziggy seek out replacements for each other as Evelyn desperately tries to parent an unassuming teenager at her shelter, while Ziggy fumbles through his pursuit of a brilliant young woman at school. The film stars Julianne Moore, Wolfhard, Alisha Boe, and J.O. Sanders, and was directed by Jesse Eisenberg, and this is his directorial debut. So going into When You Finish Saving the World, I never watched a trailer for this film. I knew that Jesse Eisenberg was in it, I knew that Emma Stone produced this film, and I also knew that Julianne Moore and Wolfhard was in this film, so I was very intrigued by the cast and who was behind the camera and producing this film as well. A lot of times A24 films, they don't come in my area, so I take advantage and go to a theater and check this film out. It came out on January 20th, and for some reason it was only in theaters for about a week. That's about it. And I saw it on the last day before it was going to go away. So I'm glad that I at least got a chance to check it out. The score in this film is really good. I really did enjoy the music throughout this film. I also enjoyed the camera work and the cinematography. We have two characters here. You have Evelyn, who is Ziggy's mother. Ziggy is her son. Ziggy, he really is into music and live streaming, and Evelyn, she really is into helping others out at this domestic abuse shelter. And they're really goal-oriented. They really want to be successful. Evelyn, she's really successful at the shelter, and she's won several awards. And you have Ziggy, who is this live stream musician. He really wants to get popular. He's very self-absorbed, though. He really wants to make money, and he wants to go big, and he thinks he's going to be the biggest star. And his mother doesn't understand that. And there's some comedy involved in this film where he gets this red siren light that's outside his room, and he's like, when it's blinking, I'm doing a live stream. And she doesn't even know what a live stream is, so it's just really funny seeing that back and forth with her not really understanding certain technologies, but they really have a crappy relationship together. There isn't really much bonding between the both of them, and they're really on separate paths. And this film really explores their separate paths. So you have Evelyn, who takes interest in this boy where he grew up in a really bad home, and he really respects his mother. And she takes interest in this boy and wants to kind of perfect him and wants him to be straight on this path. So when she takes him on, he is like a crutch for her. And this is basically making up for the fact that she doesn't have a really good relationship with Ziggy. Now, Ziggy, he goes to school, and when he's at school, he takes interest in this girl. This girl is really kind of like a political activist kind of girl. He wants to basically show her that he's a musician, and he's very self-absorbed with this musician. She notices, because he has this platform, that he should really speak out on political issues. So he tries to impress her with different political issues and makes songs about it. But you can really tell that he's just not being very genuine about it. And he's kind of an asshole about it too. Ziggy is also very socially awkward. He has a really tough time really connecting with any kids at school. And it's very apparent he's very socially awkward when he's trying to win over this girl. And he also has problems with his emotions. There isn't a lot of emotional points in this movie. There's two scenes that I can really remember. One of those scenes is when he's talking to his father, and he has a little bit of emotional scene as to what he is feeling, but we really don't get a lot of those actual emotional kind of moments in the film, and the father isn't really in the film that much, so he's not really a big major factor in the movie. There's another scene too when you have Ziggy at the dinner table, and his mother tells him to clean up his plate, and they get into this big fight, and they start shouting at each other. She's mocking him because of his music, which she's not very supportive of his music career. She thinks it's a crock kind of career, and it's just something that really won't make him successful and on a straight, narrow path, because she's very authoritative, and she really wants him to do bigger and better things like herself, and she just doesn't think music is that career. You can really tell with that scene that there is just not a lot of hope for their relationship. They're really just not respecting each other, and they're really stubborn. They don't know how to really communicate. So that's really how this movie really plays out. Most of this movie, it feels at points that it doesn't have as much emotion as it should. It doesn't have a really straight path of a story. It's a story that really follows just these two individuals. It doesn't really solve the true problem that lies for both of these individuals. I don't feel like they really learn a lot about themselves, and it doesn't feel like there is a lot of story between both of these characters. And it feels like us as the audience have problems connecting with either character because both characters are not likable. And that's kind of the hardest thing for an audience to do, is when two characters don't have much likability and they don't have any kind of respect for each other. They're both really kind of stuck in their ways. If you've ever met anybody that's really stuck in their ways and not really willing to change, are really trying to accept somebody, or really talking out certain issues, it's presented in a way that we know as the audience that there are problems between these two individuals, but it just never really sticks the full landing as a film and sticks the landing as a full narrative story. So it just seems like an okay kind of film. And it's also only about 77 minutes, so it's a really short film. And it just isn't long enough to really have a full narrative. And I think that the writing and the editing for this film, it needed to be stretched out a little bit more. And I think it needed to have a little bit more narrative to be a really complete and cohesive story. So I would give a score of this film a 2.5 out of 5. It's all right. It's probably a film I wouldn't watch again. It's a solid little directorial debut for Jesse Eisenberg. But I think next time when he goes to do another film, if he decides to do another film where he gets that opportunity, I think they need to do a better job of having some writers have a little bit more full narrative here. And I understand that the characters aren't really likable, but I think you have to have some type of message or something that really connects both characters into learning a little bit more about themselves. I just felt by the time this film actually wrapped up, I don't feel like either character really learned too much about themselves, and they're just kind of stuck in their ways at the end of this film. But thank you guys for watching this review. Are you guys interested in checking out this film? If you did watch it, let me know. Did you like it? Did you think it was bad? Was it kind of meh? Thank you guys for watching this review as always, and I will see you guys on my next review.